All right, Alexander, we have to talk about day one of the RNC. We also have to talk about the results, the devastating results, the fallout from the DNC, the Democrat Convention. So let's kick off with some news from the New York Post on Joe Biden's speech. He's been caught plagiarizing again. By the way, Alexander, the Democrats did not get any bump whatsoever from the convention. As a matter of fact, Trump did get a bump. In some polls, he got a 3-point bump. So the Democrats got 0. Doesn't happen often, so I think that tells you a lot. Trump got a 3-point bump. Here's from the New York Post, documenting how Joe Biden was caught plagiarizing his, quote-unquote, from CNN or MSNBC, his inspiring and incredible speech that he gave, the speech of a lifetime. From the New York Post, Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden reprised his penchant for borrowing lines from other people's work this week, apparently relying a bit too heavily on the words of a deceased Canuck party leader during his acceptance speech at the Democratic National Convention. Reports said Biden concluded his Thursday night speech by saying, quote, "For love is more powerful than hate. Hope is more powerful than fear. Light is more powerful than dark." But Canadian media quickly noted that the former Veep's words were uncannily similar to those of Jack Layton, the leader of Canada's left-wing New Democratic Party, who issued a poignant open letter to his fellow citizens as he lay dying in 2011. My friends, Layton wrote, "Love is better than anger. Hope is better than fear. Optimism is better than despair." So, Alexander, you have Biden plagiarizing Canadian leaders. He's plagiarized leaders in the UK as well, famously plagiarized leaders in the UK as well. He got 0 bump after the DNC. The RNC's day one, I will just say it straight out, Alexander. After watching the convention, it was much better. It wasn't super. It was much better, though, seeing people speak. But the highlight of it all was when Trump was nominated, officially given the nomination to be the Republican candidate. He came out at the White House. He talked to the delegates. He literally spoke for about an hour. He just, he was just freestyling it with the people there. It was awesome. It's something that you will not see. You will never, ever see Joe Biden do that. You will never see Barack Obama do that. What we see when we see Trump speak without the teleprompter and just getting up there and talking to the people and just freestyling and talking, what's on his mind and the people's feedback, and he's feeding off of them. And he's actually talking about policy as well and accomplishments. I'm sorry, the guy it's entertaining to watch him. And it's interesting to watch someone be able to speak for an hour without any type of teleprompter, any type of help whatsoever. And to speak, it's eloquent, but also just real. It's a real, you get the sense it's a real person, not a robot. So Alexander, that's all I'm going to say. Speak for 5-10 minutes about everything I've laid out, and let's wrap up the video.
You put the finger on it when you said it's a human being. It's not a robot, and that is the fundamental difference. We talked about this in programs we've recently done about the DNC. You had this row of people, not just Biden, by the way, and they're just machines. They're just spewing out words. And we talk about Joe Biden. Of course, he plagiarizes. He's got no ideas. This is a man who has nothing original to say at all. He has no ideas of his own, no thoughts of his own, no words of his own. Everything he says, everything he thinks is borrowed from others or or stolen from others. There's a famous speech, that somebody once made about a British politician, that this British politician was a burglar of other men's ideas. That's exactly what Biden is. And that's exactly what the Democratic Party has become. They have nothing original or interesting to say anymore. Always what they say are other things that other people have said before. They have no program. Nothing came through out of that convention, that DNC convention, that addressed in any way the problems that Americans have to experience on a day-to-day basis. There was nothing really substantive about the economy, about the health crisis, and certainly no real words about this massive collapse of public order that we're seeing across the United States. We've now got a new crisis in Wisconsin, which is also an important battleground state, and things look extremely bad there. They've got nothing to say about all of this. So, of course, they plagiarize. Of course, they steal words from other people. Think how tasteless this was, by the way, stealing the words of a dying man. But, taste, feelings of, propriety, that's obviously no part of this. Whereas Donald Trump is a real human being. And yes, sometimes he talks in a kind of stream of consciousness quality, which can be a bit confusing. But when he is talking to people, flesh and blood people, he talks to them in their own language. He talks to them in ways they can understand. There's nothing condescending and patronizing about it. There's no high-flown rhetoric, which when you strip it down doesn't really mean anything. He talks to them directly as people, and he gives the impression that he's interested in them and cares about them. I've said this before. I said this in another program that we did again recently. This talk about Donald Trump being a narcissist is completely wrong. And this conversation that he had with these people proves it. Narcissists don't know how to communicate with people in that way. The American people will see the difference. They will see this contrast between this convention of zombies, which is what the Democratic Party's convention was, and this convention of real people, which is what the Republicans are presenting. They will see this candidate who's Joe Biden, who is this walking dead man, political corpse, and they will see Donald Trump, who is this vital and real and warm human being. They will consider their own lives, what's going on in their own lives. They will say, the man in the White House is interested in us, cares about us, wants to help us, has ideas. Maybe we don't agree with all his ideas. Maybe we don't agree with him on everything, but he's got something. These other guys, they've got absolutely nothing at all. All they are able to do is make our lives worse, because they've got this obsessive feud with Donald Trump, who is this contrast to them, a real human being, which they have long since forgotten and don't any longer know how to be. The fact that the Democrats got no bounce, that Biden got no bounce from the convention, I have never known that to happen in American politics before. It's always been for me a given that the party, especially, by the way, when it's the opposition party, always gets a bounce in an election year from the convention. It goes up and then, sometimes it gradually filters down. But if they can't get a bounce out of their convention, then, as I said, the election is lost. I predict, by contrast, that Trump will get a bounce from his convention because, as I said, he's a real human being, and the Republicans are coming across as real human beings. And by the way, I would add that the lineup of people at the Republican convention, not all of them, I mean, people like Mitch McConnell, I'm sure I'm a great fan of his, but there are other people there who, again, come across to me like, real human beings. Rudy Giuliani, you might have all kinds of feelings about him, but there's no question at all. He has an actual personality. Which one of those people at the Democratic convention had a personality of their own?
Yeah, I agree with you, Alexander. We'll wrap it up there. I mean, I just want to say once again, brilliant move from the Trump campaign to get Trump out on the first day, on day one, and to speak to the delegates and to just rattle off his policy and his concerns and his accomplishments and to have fun. It was no doom and gloom. We said it. Don't have any doom and gloom. And Trump set the pace on day one. No doom and gloom. Correct. Very good strategic move. And as you said it, Alexander, I mean, Biden can barely speak for 7 minutes. Trump can speak for an hour.
For an hour. Absolutely.
Without any, that's hard. That's really hard.
It's very, very, very hard. You know, people always warm to the cheerful man. Franklin Roosevelt, who won 4 elections and guided America through the Great Depression and the Second World War. What did they call him? They called him the happy warrior. The happy warrior, because he was full of fun and humor and jokes and charm. You're not going to get any of that from the Democrats this time round. Donald Trump, as you rightly say, he is having fun. He's bringing back fun and optimism into politics. You know, Joe Biden talks about, you know, light and darkness, incredibly inappropriate words. I don't think one should ever use that kind of existential language, by the way, in an election campaign. But if you want to talk about where the light is and where the darkness is, or rather where, you know, the fun is and the gloom is, well, it's obvious the Republicans, or at least Trump Republicans, have the fun. It's the Democrats who are sunk in gloom, and gloom never wins.
Yeah, and Pelosi was very rattled, Alexander, very rattled after what's been going on, and she even called the Trump White House enemies of the state. Oh, well, she's foreshadowing the fact that they are going to lose, and when they do lose, there's going to be some bad stuff that goes down. I mean, that's my hunch, and Pelosi is foreshadowing that. She's hinting at it. Enemies of the state.
Enemies of the state. I mean, it's appalling language, terrible language. And, you know, what does it say? That the Democrats are the state? Well, clearly that's what they think. Clearly that's how they think of themselves. But, I mean, you know, this is so un-American. I don't remember any time in American history where, you know, a political party, the leaders of the two main political parties, one of the two main political parties, have spoken about the other political party in that fashion. I mean, it was outrageous, it was incendiary, and you're absolutely right, it sounds scared.
Yeah, I just want to remind our viewers, we did a video on this, on the think tank, the Democratic think tank, game planning, a color revolution. Anything outside of a Trump landslide and the Democrats and the deep state and the intel agencies and the DNC, they are going to tear America apart. Anything outside of a landslide. That's my prediction. I think we're calling this right, and Pelosi is hinting at it. Alexander, any final thoughts before we talk about awesome Duran merchandise? This is now, I mean, the momentum is with Trump, and it will continue to increase right up till Election Day. We're going to start to see the Democrats panic before very long, and then it's going to get incredibly dirty. This is going to be dirty in a way that no other election has ever been in history. When people talk about this kind of language, you know, we're going to see wild and frightening things between now and November. All right, guys, click that red subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications when we push out a new video and do an awesome live stream. Please donate to us on PayPal, Patreon, and Subscribestar. Your donation helps this small channel fight the big corporate fake news media. And also go to the Duran shop, pick up some of our awesome merchandise. I just showed you Ireland magic mug. I also have an Armenia magic mug. And also, please, guys, support our friends at Patriotic Legacy. They have the Patriot Beacon 3. They're running a contest for a purple Patriot Beacon 3. You enter that contest when you make a purchase at their website. The link is in the description box down below for the Patriotic Legacy. With that contest, not only do you get a purple Patriot Beacon 3, but they also give you a Duran USA magic mug as well. You will see a photo of it right now, what you get when you enter that contest. 20% off Duran20. Use that code at checkout. Patriotic Legacy, description box down below. They ship internationally. The Duran shop. The link to the website for the Duran shop is down below in the description box. And Alexander, your final thoughts and your final words as we wrap it up.
Yes, I mean, can I just say quickly, Patriot Beacon 3. This is a Patriot Beacon 3. This is in black. You're going to get it in purple if you join this competition. It is made in the United States by our friends at Patriotic Legacy. It is the best flashlight in the world. I'm on a walking holiday in the Peak District. It is absolutely indispensable to have a flashlight like this with that incredible, powerful, strong beam in the very great deep darkness. There's no, there's no artificial lighting anywhere because this is a very rural part of England. And it just gives you incredible confidence to have this incredibly powerful flashlight with you. It also has lots of other useful qualities. It's got a torch. So if you get lost, by the way, I did get lost on a walk yesterday. I added 2 hours because I lost my bearings, and I found them because I had this compass. You can see there's a compass there in the handle. This actually made a 2-hour walk, a 2-hour diversion out of what would otherwise have probably been a 5-hour diversion. So that gives you some idea of how useful this torch is. Don't always have internet connections in this part of the world. And of course, it's solar powered, so you don't need to worry about it, dying on you. If you need to recharge your phone, your smartphone, you've got a port there which you can do it with. It's incredibly strong and rugged, and that gives you tremendous confidence when you carry it around with you. It's a wonderfully made product. You find yourself also on narrow roads sometimes. There's accidents on these roads. You have to help people. You can do it. It becomes a hammer like this. You can break a windscreen, help someone, pull someone out. You've got a seatbelt cutter there. You can cut it too. You can cut the seatbelt so you can, extract them. You need to alert people to where you are. You need to call people's help. You've got an alarm. So you've got all of these incredible things on your Patriot Beacon 3, made in the United States. Alex calls it the Swiss Army knife of flashlights. Well, I've given you some idea why, because it does so many things. Best flashlight in the world, ships internationally, made in the United States, an essential accessory for in your car, in your home, or if you go out on long walks as I do. And of course, it comes with a Duran magic mug with the flag of the United States. But of course, we also now have our enameled mugs. As I said, I'm on a walking holiday. This is the mug I take with me. So, when I need to refresh myself, you sometimes find mountain streams, very clear water. You can just pick it up. It's completely clean, very sort of rocky limestone water in this part of the world. It's ideal for this. It's light, it's strong, gives you confidence. It's so elegant. It's got the flag of England. But as Alex has said, we've got all the flags of many countries now on our mugs, both our magic porcelain mugs and our enameled mugs. You can see there Armenia and I think Ireland. So if you don't see your own country's flag, just wait a little. Alex is expanding the range all the time. Wait a little. If it's still not there, just drop us a line and we will certainly be able to accommodate you. And of course, we're doing the same with our shirts. We're expanding our shirts all the time. You can see I'm wearing a new shirt with the flag of the United Kingdom there at the center. And we're also doing new polo shirts with flags, or at least we're working towards doing new polo shirts with flags. Alex is working on he's wearing actually a prototype of one. It's embroidered. Come to our shop, buy these great things. You'll also find hats, by the way, embroidered hats and truckers' hats and baseball hats. They're all there in our shop. Support the Duran, and Alex will tell you how.
Just go to the duranshop.com. You'll find the link in the description box down below. And for the Patriotic Legacy, you'll find a link to their website as well down below underneath this video. Alexander Mercouris, thank you very much. Until next time, everybody, take care.